Rock Gauge.
Hi, welcome to this video. I have no idea if this is your first time here or not, but let's have a little bit of a chat. Let's just talk a little bit. How are you all feeling? Like you specifically, how are you feeling in this very moment while watching this video? Chances are there's something bothering you, something on your mind. Maybe you're like me and you think about a lot of things and you have a lot just bugging you, at least semi-consistently. But all of us have something going on in our lives. All of us have problems and things that are bothering us. And just take a moment to think about what that is. You know, if you do have anything. I'm not trying to make you think that there's something wrong when maybe things are going really well. But even if that is you and you don't really have much going on, just think about things that when you look out into the world that you wish were different, you wish weren't the way that they were. And if you do have something that's bothering you, just isolate that in your mind, think about it for a second. Because I believe that we are so quick in today's world to throw so many good things away, and we convince ourselves that it's the normal thing or the right thing to do, or plenty of other excuses when it's just not. Growing up, all of us, pretty much all of us go to school, unless you were homeschooled. I was homeschooled for a few years through high school. But you go to school, you have the traditional, 8:30 to 3:30, maybe even later if you go, you ride the school bus. It's a lot of time dedicated throughout the week to doing your school, which school is important. I think you should do it and graduate. But it is interesting. It is interesting that time frame. It's almost as if it's sort of meant to get you to be okay with that, and it's normal to spend that much time after school in college or in the workplace and things like that. And it just, to me, feels like we're in a society, and maybe it always has been this way, and I'm just younger and I'm now realizing it, but it just feels like we're in a society where it's always about being urgent. Everything is always about go, be successful, make money. It's no longer about, how can I add to the world? How can I add to someone else's life? But it's now, how can I get ahead? How can I basically take advantage of people in my life to get more, to attain more? And that's really sad, because it always feels that's how people are. That's how people around me are. And, maybe maybe not everyone watching this will relate to kind of what I'm feeling and saying here. Some people might say, just get with the program. That's just what we do, right? It's all about the 9 to 5, maybe even more, just the push, the grind, it's all about the grind. People joke about that kind of stuff all the time. It's always about pursue all these things that society has told you is important and that should be important to you, but society's telling you that. But is it important to you? What you're doing right now in your life, what your pursuits are, is it something that you truly care about? If you were to take any form of monetary or wealth or fame, success out of the picture, would you be doing what you're doing right now if you had total freedom to do anything that you wanted to? What would that be? Now, hopefully we wouldn't say, committing crimes and, if you had total freedom, but truthfully, hopefully you can see what I'm getting at, what I'm trying to say. If you had total freedom, what would you actually do with that? If there was no societal pressures or expectations and it was only you and your own psychology, what would matter to you? What would your passions be? Where would those passions lead you? What kind of a life would you live at that point? These are questions and these are thoughts that I've had largely after watching Studio Ghibli's The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, directed by Isao Takahata. This movie is phenomenal, and it is probably my second favorite movie of all time, just because that movie First Reformed really meant so much to me personally. But just those two movies are just by far my favorites. But anyways, talking about Kaguya, when I watched that movie, it really spawned all of these thoughts in my head of what actually matters to me? What am I living life for? What is this channel for? What are these videos all about? Why do I do them? It made me think about all these things about my life. You know, because I started out making these videos because it was something I just wanted to do. I always thought it'd be fun to make videos and put them on the internet for people to watch and hopefully enjoy. It was something I became passionate about. But that was the key word. I wanted to do it. It was something that, it was an interest, a passion of mine. I wanted to learn how to make videos for YouTube. I wanted to learn to edit and make thumbnails. Even if I'm still not super great at it, I just wanted to do it. I wanted to give it a shot. It was something I genuinely, no one was pressuring me to do. It was just something I picked up the camera. I picked up the everything I needed and I did it. And I'm so happy I did, because I'm really thankful to be able to make cool videos that I think are cool and just put them out there, and hopefully people enjoy them. If I can focus this conversation just a little bit more of everything I've said up to this point, I really believe that the traditional 9-to-5 and the way that the modern school system is for at least a lot of people, and how society pressures us into going to college and things like that, and everything that is so common among people today, I question it. And that's probably making me weird or radical in some way, or I'm the odd one out, because it's easy to just get with the program and just do the normal thing. But I question everything. I question all these things because, I mean, how can I not? You know, I mean, in my first Reformed video and in previous videos on this channel, I've talked about my childhood church. And this is just, I'm not trying to get so far in the weeds with talk about the topic of religion, but it is an example of something that was so normalized in my mind of, this is just something that's always going to be here. It's something that I am always going to do. But largely it was because I grew up in it, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm glad I did, but everything just fell apart instantly. And I don't hear from anyone in that place at all. And I consider them family. Is that really family anymore if there's no connection? So it really, everything I went through with that experience, and again, you'll have to refer to older videos on this channel to get a full picture. It just made me realize, wow, things are not constant, and I need to prioritize what is it that I want to do in life. And hopefully this is not something people take and make it a very selfish thing, because I don't think we should strive to be selfish at all. But it is something important at the same time to realize, you know, what am I truly passionate about? What is it that I want to do with my life, so where when I look back over it all, I'm like, that was cool. That was such a good life I lived. I want to be able to say that. And I don't think more money, I don't think more fame or success is going to do that for me. I don't think that's going to be the things that really matter. A lot of you may not know this, but I actually worked at a funeral home for quite a while. It was like a part-time job, but I've been to a lot of funeral services, and I have rarely ever heard family talk about what job they had, how much money they had, how famous they were. You never hear people talk about that at a funeral. You always hear people talk about how much this person meant to them, it mattered to them, and they always talk about memories they made with them. And to me, that's the most powerful thing, because people aren't going to care how much money you had when you died. I mean, maybe in a selfish sense, like I know there's plenty of stories on things like Dateline and was it like 24/7 or something. It's that other crime show. There's a lot of crazy people out there who do want your money, and they will do anything to get it. But most of us who actually love our family and friends, they don't care. We aren't going to care when they're gone of how much money they had or how famous they were or any of those things. We're just going to care so much about them being gone. We're going to miss them, because then we no longer get to make memories with them because they're out of time. Because time is the most valuable asset we have. And if I can bring this back to Tale of Princess Kaguya for a second, that movie, all right, so I'm getting into spoilers, by the way. If you haven't watched the movie, please go watch it. I'm probably going to spoil some things about it, but it's such a valuable watch. I think everyone should watch this movie, no matter what. Even if you're a fan of anime, Ghibli fan or not, just watch it. But in that movie, it's really teaching us so much about life. It's a lesson on life. And I think that's beautiful, especially for it being Takahata's final film and one he wanted to make for such a long time. But in that movie, Kaguya runs out of time. She was essentially forced into the life of wealth and fame, success, people fawning over her. You know, the royals all wanted to marry her without even knowing anything about her. But it was putting her in this place where she had everything that everyone else, all the common folk want. They want what she has. And that's so, the movie represents that whenever she talks to Stemaru again towards the end of the movie. But it's interesting because the entire movie, after Kaguya leaves the village, she is so sad. She's so depressed. And she's such a complicated and complex person in this film. And towards the end of it, when she meets Stemaru again, and it's like this dreamlike sequence when she's flying, and Stemaru before that said, "Oh, you would never want to live like we live. You know, we're roughing it out here. It's not easy." And she's like, "No, I did that when we were kids. That's exactly what I want. I want to live here with you. I don't want to leave." And that's so powerful. Like, that's so cool, you know. And that whole thing with them flying in the dreamlike sequence was so beautiful because it really just, you feel something so deep in that moment of this is the life that she wanted. But of course, we know that leading up to this point, she cried out for help for the moon spirits to take her back home because she's not of this world. And so the movie ends with her being taken away. And I think it's beautiful and in a somber, kind of terrifying way, how the movie portrays Kaguya turns around. She wants to say goodbye to her parents, but she doesn't get to. She doesn't even get to say goodbye. And that's how death works. When our time's up, we don't get the opportunity to say goodbye to everyone. A lot of times it just happens. Not all of us get the opportunity to say goodbye. It's such a cool movie. It's such a good movie. And it's really taught me, wow, I don't want to waste my life. I really don't want to waste my life. And I also want to rebel against the things of this world that everyone is a prisoner to. Because I've thought about it. I'm like, are you truly free if you are being manipulated unknowingly by society's expectations on you? Actually, it reminds me a lot of the story and themes of Persona 5 about rebellion and freedom. Rebellion's not always a bad thing in certain contexts. And this is an example where I believe you can be truly free when you isolate yourself for a moment from everything, all the noise, all the expectations, all the little details in our media, where it's teaching you what you should want, but is it really what you want? And you have to isolate yourself from all of that and just put yourself in a place of, what do I want? What life do I want to live? And I think that's an incredibly powerful thing. I think it's something that everyone should do, because you might want something simpler. Kaguya in the film wanted a simpler life. She did not want the wealth and the money and the fame. She didn't want all of that. She wanted to live with Stemaru, someone that she truly loved, and she just wanted to live in the mountains with all of her friends. And sometimes I think about that, like, you know, I'm so fortunate right now with where I'm at. Even when things aren't going well, I'm still just way better off than I ever deserved. But man, sometimes I want to live in the mountains like that, you know, and maybe more of a proverbial, in a sense. I don't know if I want to actually live in mountains, but just, you see what I'm saying? Just like live a simpler life. You know, sometimes I think about that, or at least simplifying in areas where I think it makes sense or I want to, you know. I feel like life is so complicated now with where everything's at, and I feel like any way that we can just simplify it. It just makes life better. Yeah, like if you're someone who is doing the 9 to 5, going to college, doing all this stuff, just anything. If you're just alive, just ask yourself, is this really what I want? Is this the life I want to live? Is this going to matter when I'm dead? It's in essence. Because sometimes it feels very lonely when it feels like everyone is just doing this because it's the thing that you do. My experiences have really shaped this idea in my mind of what I really want, and to go after that, or just live life, I don't think everything has to be in the pursuit of being successful, or in the pursuit of gaining more or being efficient. Sometimes it's good enough to just enjoy life, be happy, smile a little bit more, spend more time with the people you really love. That's the thing, money, we can make money. Plenty of ways we can make money, but you can't make more time. You don't get more time. And I feel like that's such a simple reality that so many people should understand, but we so often forget that time is limited. And I think the 9 to 5 is outdated. I think a lot of things are outdated at this point about how people live. I don't think we need to. I don't think we should throw away so much of our lives into things that we're not truly passionate about. Because if I continued to do the normal thing, I wouldn't have this channel. I wouldn't have all these videos. I wouldn't have this video I'm making right now. I wouldn't be doing this right now. But I'm so happy that I slowed things down. I had a period of time where I was not really doing a whole lot in my life. I'm glad that I have a bit more of a balance now, but I wouldn't be here without that. And I really am happy about that. So yeah, I know this video is probably going to be really long. I really wanted to keep it concise as possible. That's what I've been trying to do so hard with my videos, just keep everything short and sweet. I'm so thankful, truly. If you watch all this and everything in this video, I think this is the type of conversation that needs to happen that will really just make our world such a better place. So if you finish the video and you made it to this point, thank you so much. I'm so happy. I'm so happy if you did, any of y'all did. Thank you. But yeah, I think that's about it.